Hi everyone, this is Geneva, and I'm here to show you how I made these metallic flowers. I started with a soda can. You can use a pair of utility scissors. Don't use your good crafting scissors. And I just cut into the can and then cut around. So I have this one flat piece. I use soda cans. You can use, of course, any can that is this sort of aluminum, thin aluminum stuff. I then took my die cut machine and I embossed this for the texture. See the texture on the flower. It makes a difference from doing just a plain one. And I really suggest the busier the pattern, the better. I'm going to use this embossing folder. It sort of looks like butterflies. It's a nice deep pattern that encompasses the whole embossing folder. Now this is going to be too deep. It will cut your foil. You need to put a piece of scrap cardstock inside the folder so the depression isn't so deep. So you'd put it on the side that the raised side of the embossing folder. So raised side, paper, and then the foil, shiny side down. Play with this, do it, you can do it your way, of course. Now I just run it through my Big Shot like normal. Sorry you can't see all this. I cannot get the camera far enough away. I had to reorganize my craft room, and this is what I ended up with. Sorry about all the flipping. Okay. Let's run through. I'm going to use this again in a minute, so I'm just going to leave it here. But as you can see, you have a nice texture on your foil that won't break when you cut your flowers or whatever. A punch works really well. In fact, it works better than a cutting die, at least the cutting dies I have. I made the leaves, of course, that you saw with this one, and I've done a butterfly. It turned out real pretty. Now, you can either apply your alcohol ink here now or after you've cut your leaves or your flower petals. I'm using a Sizzix flower die. And let me tell you, the dryer sheet trick doesn't work. These, you have to dig them a little bit to dig them out. Okay, so we'll just run this through here. Excuse me while I pull it up. cut. Oh, I don't think it did. Run it through again. And, you know, depending on what machine you use is going to depend on how it works for you. So play with it, test it out. I think it cut that time. Had a little more resistance. Peeling it off. Now I am going to use my craft knife and not my pick. The craft knife has a thinner blade. I've made several flowers and it doesn't seem to hurt the die. It still cuts paper quite nicely. Okay, there's one piece. And the two different kinds of flower petals here don't really fit together well, so you have to do it twice. You end up with two flowers. You know, just play with it. Again, I think the punch is a lot easier, as I will show you in just a moment. Oh, don't know if you can hear that, but we have a thunderstorm brewing here. Okay, depending on how you're going to build your flowers, I really suggest that you don't punch the center hole if you're going to hold them together with a brad until you have all your petals together and lined up, and then make the hole. Invariably, at least for me, I never get it dead center on every single one, so it comes out off. The leaf, as you see, this stuff punches really easily if you've never punched soda cans or beer cans before. It just came out real easy. Now I used alcohol inks to color mine, and there's two ways you can apply the ink. I would get your flowers shaped first, and I use a tool with a ball end. That one's too small. There's my other one. There it is. And a mouse pad, and you can't really just run it like you do on paper to make a crease because of the embossing on the metal. It tends to wiggle around, so I just press. It's just like doing paper. You just do it a little more gingerly with the metal. So now I'm going to show you the two ways that I color. And I'll use a leaf for one, and maybe the butterfly for the other. Here is the Tim Holtz Ranger alcohol ink. And I make my own little dabbers. It's a wooden dowel with a piece of round Velcro on it that I got in the fabric section that had adhesive on the back, and I just cut the dowels, which you can find in the craft section, that are the same circumference as the Velcro, and I stuck the Velcro on there, and I cut a circle of felt and stuck the felt on top of that, and I have a dauber for my alcohol ink. So I just fill it up and tap it on. It's me a nice color. Now the thing is it probably won't get any darker this way because the alcohol dissolves the ink color. So if I wanted it really dark, I'd have to do it the way I'm going to show you next. And this is a homemade alcohol ink with a Sharpie. All I did was opened up the colored Sharpie. I used a couple of pairs of pliers to get some good tension. Just carefully took it apart. Wear rubber gloves. I pull the tip out, drop it in the bottle, pull out the center tube that has all the coloring in it, and I just took my X-Acto knife and laid open the tube so you could, the felt was exposed on the inside, and then I cut it in half so I had two pieces instead of just one long one. Put those in the bottle, and then I covered it with rubbing alcohol and just let it sit, and I have got a really dark purple ink here. These are fine tip bottle. Found them on Amazon. Now, I'm just coloring this thing directly using the tip of the bottle. And this takes a while to dry like this. To make the butterfly, I put this blue butterfly. I did it exactly the same way, and then I used the heat gun on it, which spread the ink out, and I have, as you can see, the tips are a little darker. Now, my husband thought maybe the edges would be a little too sharp and you could cut yourself with them. I suppose if you really tried, somebody could get cut, but I don't see how. But he gave me the idea of covering it with melted ultra thick embossing enamel, or you may have heard it called UD. So I will do that. I'll show you how I did that next. Hey everyone, back to try the melted UD experiment with these. I'm pretty sure you're going to have your petals formed exactly in the shape you want them, because by the time they come out of this stuff and dry, they are going to be pretty rigid. So you also notice that I have some leaves that I punched using just a Martha Stewart punch and a butterfly. Also, some of the colors here are from my own alcohol inks, and I made using Sharpie pens. It's easy to do. The colors come out really nice, and depending on how you apply it, depend on the intensity of color. You know, we may want to do more than just brown steampunky flowers. So I thought I would just show you a sample of what I came up with really quickly. I'm going to do just these 3 layers in the UD and see how it comes out. I'm not for sure I'm going to be happy with it, but nothing ventured, nothing gained. So here we go into the melted UD. Get it in there, get it turned around. These out of the way. Up. And plop it on my non-stick craft mat. Here's the next one. Look at that, it bleached out the color a little bit. And I did heat set the color. I suppose that's another consideration. I really don't think the edges of these are all that sharp. Okay, that's all I'm gonna do. Let these dry and see what we come up with. Okay, I think I better punch the hole back out. Oh, too late. It's all set up and the hole is not repunchable. At least with a toothpick. Even the last one I just did, it's all set. Okay, and I've got a little lump of stuff here. I suppose I can see if I can trim it away with my scissors. Oops, sorry about that. Yeah, it trimmed right away. Cut off really easily. So I imagine I'll be able to repunch the holes fairly easily. Okay, right through. Oh, looky here, I got little tags. Okay. Punch it through. Put the hole back into this one. Yeah, it's brittle. It's certainly can't change the shape. It certainly gives them a different dimension. I think it's going to be all a matter of personal taste. Zoom in so you can see these. There you go. There's each one. And stacked together. Different. It works. Not bad. So there you go. There's my metallic flower tutorial. Everybody have a great day, and hopefully I will be back with another video not too many days.